The following is a local resident producers program. The program content is the sole responsibility of the producer and does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of Oshkosh Media, the City of Oshkosh, or your video service provider.
Hello, this is Edward Kastner again for Making Happen. This afternoon I have Katie talking from the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm not just talking about that, I'm talking about that. No pun intended. But first of all, I want to dedicate this show to Lori because she was the executive director of the Center Director of the Boys and Girls Club. She passed away of cancer, I believe, right?
Correct.
So I just wanted to dedicate this show to her. Thanks for joining me, Katie.
Thanks for having me, and that's very sweet to dedicate it to Lori.
No problem. And you are
I am the Development and Grant Director for the Boys and Girls Club of Oshkosh.
So what led you to the Boys and Girls Club? Tell me a little bit about your past.
Sure. I have always worked with youth, starting from babysitting when I was younger to working for a serving agency in high school. I worked at the Boys and Girls Club up in Green Bay when I was in college, and then got this job after I graduated college. So I've always had a passion for helping kids who are in need and just making sure that we can help them the best way possible.
So did you always kind of want a job with the Boys and Girls Club? Was that something was that your dream job?
I wouldn't say it was my dream. Because,
we have those dream jobs in our heads of when we get older we want to do this. Mm-hmm. What was your vision?
What was my vision? I wanted to always help people. And I always wanted to help kids because kids are my passion. I learned more about the Boys and Girls Club, and I definitely think that it led me to go work there after I learned about it. I didn't know about it growing up, and then once I learned about it, I was like, that is a place I want to work.
So where are you originally from?
Geneva, Illinois. It's a suburb of Chicago.
Okay. And we were talking a little bit before the show, and you said you went to St. Norbert. What led you to St. Norbert?
I was looking for a small liberal arts school, and it was recommended to me by a family member, and I didn't think ever in my life I would go and end up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, but went and checked out the school and fell in love with St. Norbert College, and the rest is history.
What did you fall in love with most about St. Norbert?
The community that it was as a college. It's a very small college, close-knit. They're all about trying to find people's passions in life and what they're going to do, not just a career, but what is your passion, what drives you, and how do you make that work.
And do you feel that same way about Oshkosh? Mm-hmm. Because that's what drew me here. I had an interview with, not an interview, but a college tour, and I'm like, people are so friendly here, and that's why I'm still here.
Yeah, I think
it's friendly people.
It's a wonderful town.
So let's talk a little bit about your role with the Boys and Girls Club. You said development and grant writing?
Correct. So I write all the grants for the Boys and Girls Club and work with program staff to help develop those programs that we write grants for, and then the measurables for them afterwards. And then I also do some of the event things and fundraising that way and talking to donors, just helping to tell your story to the community.
How hard is it to write grants? I've never actually wrote a grant, but I'm thinking about starting my own nonprofit. So
it can be a little challenging. There's a lot of different pieces, but I think if you know strongly about your mission and know your who, what, when, where, whys, those kinds of things, and can tell your story and measure it and show your impact, then...
Is it about how you sell it?
It can be a little bit about how you sell it, but I think if you have a great nonprofit, that's easy to sell. You're just telling what you're doing, how you're making that impact in your community, what change you are driving in your community.
Now you talk about change, but how has the Boys and Girls Club changed you as a person?
How has it changed me as a person? I think it always makes me more humble and more compassionate, and the kids keep me just, I would say, there.
They keep you hopping?
Mm-hmm. They keep me hopping. They keep me there, what drives me to be there every day. I've grown as a professional. I think it always adds something to my life every day.
You said it humbles you, but what does it teach you?
What does it teach me? I mean, the kids are always teaching us stuff, like different words that they now know, or what's cool in fashion. And I mean, I think you can learn something every day. So just walking over and hanging with kids, they'll tell you something that you didn't know.
What's a cool story that you want to share that you remember?
A cool story.
Like from when you first started.
When I first started.
How long have you been there?
I've been there for 4.5 years.
Okay.
So I would say the biggest thing that the Boys and Girls Club of Oshkosh does is we focus a lot on basic needs for our kids.
Okay. Which
just blew me away when I first started. So to know that we help kids with their clothing, we help kids with back-to-school supplies, we help them with dental and medical and vision if they need it. We have kids who shower every day after school at our club. We do their laundry. So one of the big things is we work with the Tri-County Dental Bus that's out of Appleton, and they come down to our club and clean kids' teeth on a fairly regular basis. They're probably there like 6 times a year.
What kind of need have you seen for the dental care? Has that grown?
It has. They work with the school districts as well, so if they didn't see them at the school, they can see them at the club. The coolest thing I've seen with that, just in even my 4 years of being there, is there are kids that start at the dental bus and have to have a lot of cavities fixed and all of that, but now that they've been on the dental bus for many years, all they're going in and doing is just cleanings, so they don't have as many cavities. They're learning how to brush their teeth correctly, so it's a big impact that they're making.
And a lot of families don't have insurance or can't afford that, so they rely on that. And
Correct.
Then some kids may grow up and think about that experience and maybe I want to be a dentist. They dream of maybe being a dentist.
Correct.
So, and I know you guys provide also like meals at nighttime, and talk about that a little bit.
So we provide snack and dinner every day after school, and then during the summer we provide breakfast, snack, and lunch. So that's a lot of different meals. So it's any kid who is in the community who needs that kind of service, they can always stop by our club as long as they have their club membership. We can help them out during the summer. Even if they don't have a club membership and need a meal, they can stop on by. So it's a lot of need that we see with that. But it's good that we are here and we can help them.
What kind of guidelines does a family need to join, like the Boys and Girls Club? Because what are the requirements?
So you have to be between the ages of 6 to 18. Other than that, you can join the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay. You guys deal with a lot of the poverty. Is there a big poverty line in Oshkosh? Because like I said, a lot of parents can't afford a lot of things. So.
Yeah, so we see about 55% of our members that are on free and reduced lunch, which is a element.
That's more than half.
Yep. So it's a large population of our kids at the club.
Why do you think it's grown so much?
I think that there's just a lot of need in this community. You have people who are coming in from lots of different areas who might not have much. We see a lot of refugees. We see lots of people moving from Milwaukee or up from Chicago who don't want to be in a big city anymore. And if they're just moving from a place that they had there, and they just might not have a lot, and they're trying to get established and work it out.
What are some things that you hear from families or from surveys or feedback that the families need that you guys always look at?
Like I said, we're always working on basic needs with stuff. I think one of the biggest things we're seeing right now is transportation. Just getting to and from the club and getting their kids to the club. Oshkosh is a big city, and so getting kids to the club is.
How do you guys help provide transportation?
We have a bus and a couple vans that we go and pick up middle school and high schoolers at every day and bring them to the club. Elementary students, we are trying to work out how we do that. We give out bus passes and bus tokens so they can ride the city bus and come to the club. And we also have 9 after-school care sites. So if they can't come to our club building, they can go to their after-school care.
Okay. So you guys try to help out in any way you can.
Correct. We don't want anyone to feel like they have something that's stopping them from
But let's
achieving.
say the bus doesn't go down the road, or whatever. Then how would you handle something like that? And if they really wanted to be at a club activity?
We're trying to work that out right now,
Okay.
because transportation's a big issue in the city right now too for the school district, and they're trying to work that out with the city. And
Yeah, because I know
we're
that
trying to
I know
be
that I
involved.
know that that's a school district issue too, with getting those kids that are not on the route. How do they get to school? You know,
Yep. So we're trying to be in those conversations as well.
and talk about from the development side. Do you help out with developing the programs and?
A little bit. If there's a newer grant that we're looking at, and one of our program staff is looking at a new program, I work with them on what is this program bringing, what kind of community need are we fixing, how are we measuring this program to make sure it's making an impact, that kind of thing.
You want to talk about how you measure a program so you make sure it makes enough impact, like?
So you can measure a program in a number of different ways, by the number of people you're serving, by if you've made a change in their lives. We'll do some pre and post surveys depending on what program it is. Like we have one that's about healthy lifestyles with girls. So they take a pre-survey with questions and then a post-survey with questions, and then we compare to see if they answered more questions correctly, or did they get something out of it, or did they have more confidence. That kind of thing. We sometimes will look at kids' grades to see, is our tutoring program helping them do better in school? Are we making sure that we are helping them get their homework completed so they can turn it in on time? That kind of stuff.
Do you see a lot of that after-school homework helping? Do you have a lot of tutors and stuff?
Yep, we have 4 tutors every day after school, so 2 for the 6 to 12-year-olds and 2 for the 13 to 18-year-olds.
Okay.
So we do a lot of tutoring hours. We really focus on literacy because that's a big thing that kids need help with.
Do you need more tutors?
We would always take more tutors. Anyone can volunteer as long as they're over the age of 18 and can back.
So if I wanted to come there and volunteer my time and give a couple hours up.
Yep. You do a volunteer application and a background check, and then we place you where you want to be. So we work with you to figure out where your passions lie and where that is in the club.
Do you try to find a fit between a volunteer and a person with, that's at the Boys and Girls Club? Do you try to find that fit too, or do you? Yeah.
Yep. So we try and make sure that you are in a place that you really like. So if you don't really like basketball and gym activities, then we're not going to put you in the gym.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then if people really want to do something bigger and that's more time dedicated, there's always our mentoring program that we pair one-on-one with 6 to 12-year-olds.
Okay.
And you spend an hour a week with a 6 to 12th grader and try and help them with homework and their life skills and what's happening with their friends and anything that they kind of need.
So you kind of like their mentor, the person that they look up to, and
Yep, a positive adult role model.
and they can ask any questions, and like maybe you can give them a story about. I mean, maybe you can tell them how you grew up, or how, just a positive feedback.
Yep, anything to try and connect with them.
So, are you in need for mentors as well?
Yep, we would
Yeah.
always take more mentors.
Now, how many different programs does this is a jumbled question? How many different programs does the Boys and Girls Club offer?
A lot. Probably too many for being a count at times.
Okay.
There's a lot of different stuff. So we have about 5 different rooms that we have different things going on for our 6 to 12-year-olds. So there's the Learning Center, so that's tutoring. We have an art room, a computer lab, a gym, and what we call a games room. So that's just like fun and on-the-spot activities.
And how many volunteers does it take to make that possible?
It depends on the day. We have about 16 full-time staff on staff, and then we have probably about 80 part-timers between our standalone site and our 2 after-school care sites, and there's more in the summer, so it kind of depends that way. But then volunteers are placed wherever we need them. So we have hundreds of volunteers throughout a year. We have a lot of university students that, depending on what they need to do for their hours. We place them where they need to be.
And so, based on appropriate need, huh?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, and I suppose you guys couldn't do it without the volunteers.
No, we always need volunteers, and just people who are passionate about the Boys and Girls Club always makes it a better place.
So if they wanted to volunteer, should they go to the website or?
Yep, they can go to our website, which is bgcosh.org, and there's a volunteer application on there, or they could always stop down by our location on 501 East Parkway Avenue and pick one up.
What if somebody really wants to volunteer, but they just want like a tour or maybe to experience it firsthand? What would you say to them?
If they want a tour, they can stop by any time and we can give them a tour.
Okay.
And then show them around, talk to them about what more we do or where they would want to volunteer, what they like to do, see if it
what
fits.
skills they have that can match up to what they want.
Correct.
Now, as far as programs go, back to programs, what kind of programs do the youth like to do the most there?
The most?
The popular ones.
Basketball is always a popular thing. They love basketball in the gym. A lot of them love being active that way. We have a lot of kids who love computers and computer time, whether that's they really like that game Minecraft and just video games. We have a lot of kids who love doing art activities and arts and crafts.
Okay.
Some popular ones. Yeah.
How do you think it helps the kids grow? Because every time they go there and they feel that welcomeness, how do you think it helps them grow into young adults?
I think the Boys and Girls Club helps them grow because we're showing them positive people and caring adults who want them to be better people in the world. We try and instill good values in them and work with them on being good community members. We have a middle school and a high school leadership group that does community service, so they learn a lot about that.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the leadership group?
Sure.
And what all they do?
Sure. The middle school one is called Torch Club, and then the high school one is called Keystone.
Okay.
So both of them have to do a number of community service hours every year. So whether that is helping people rake their yards or going down to the food pantry and doing something or doing nice gift baskets for the police department or fire department, whatever community service they can offer is a big part of what they need to do. And then for the Keystone Leadership Group, they have to participate in Boys and Girls Club of America's national project every year, so that changes. So this past year it was about mental health and how they could help each other as teens with mental health issues and get awareness around that. So they have to put on different activities that go with that and just participate in the project that way.
How is the national project determined?
The teens every year go to a Keystone Conference, which is a collective of Keystone groups across America that come together, and they take a vote every year at Keystone Conference for next year's project.
Okay.
So they all get a voice.
So you said this year's project was mental health?
Yes.
And what did they do for?
They were bringing in different speakers on different mental health topics for their teen center community. So
mental health is very important.
Mm-hmm.
It affects not just older people, not just younger people, but all ages.
Correct. It's something that we see as a big need for sure in our community.
Speaking of mental health and confidence, do you think it helps the youth that have maybe confidence issues or even mental health issues? Because maybe something's going on at home that you guys don't know about, and or maybe the mom and dad just aren't there a big majority of the time.
Mm-hmm. We definitely think that our club helps. We work with Catalpa Health out of Appleton to have a mental health counselor on site who can meet with kids if they need to and help us as staff figure out how to best integrate mental wellness into our programming and make sure that we are addressing kids' mental wellness needs when we need to and correctly. So we make sure that we are trying to hit upon that need as we see it with kids.
Yeah. And where does the funding come from for the Boys and Girls Club? Are you guys government funded or is it just private donors?
The really only government funding that we get is for our food program, so we're reimbursed through CACFP and SFSP is what they are called, and they're both state-funded grants.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, most of our funding is from private or individuals or business donors. So we are very thankful that this community loves our club and stands behind us every year and helps us to make sure we can keep our doors open and run.
So how many kids do you serve on a day-to-day basis?
So overall, we serve probably 3,000 kids every year between direct service and outreach.
That's between 6 and 18, right?
Correct. And at our standalone site and 9 after-school care sites. So it's a lot of kids. And then at our standalone site, we probably see 80 to 100 kids on an average day is what usually it is.
And they're doing a variety of different things.
Correct. Mm-hmm. They all rotate through every room. If they're 6 to 12, and the teens get to pick kind of which activities and which programs they go to.
Do you guys ever work with like a program like where it helps them set goals or future goals?
We do try and do that. It depends on kind of which program they're in. A lot of them will focus on that, especially for our teens.
Okay.
We want them to start thinking about how they want to live their lives once they graduate high school and what it means to get there and how one achieves that. So we try and talk about goal setting and what it means to make smaller goals to reach bigger goals, that kind of thing.
Do you have any stories you want to share as far as goal setting from that standpoint, like
Sure.
From any mentor perspective? Or?
Mm-hmm. One that comes to my mind is her name is Ashley Corley. She's a former Youth of the Year, and she really, when she started, wanted to be in the medical field. So she figured out that she had to go to college for that. So she went to college. She ended up going to UWO for a period of time and has recently graduated with her biology degree. Okay. So now she's going to apply to medical school and try and do that and be a doctor. So yeah.
That's really a success story.
Mm-hmm.
So did she meet with a mentor, and did her mentor kind of help guide her in what direction to?
She had a lot of mentors who were staff who helped guide her through that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And she's had mentors outside of that who are also been staff who have helped guide her through her college experience, and she worked for us for a couple of summers, so she's stayed very well connected to us.
Do you have any other stories you want to share?
Off the top of my head?
Yes.
I think we have a lot of different success stories. I think there's a lot of kids who have been Youth of the Years. There's a lot of people in our community who went to our Boys and Girls Club who are doing really great things in their lives, who are alumni. So I don't know if I have one specific one that I can pick out.
How many meals do you guys serve at like night or every day?
Off the top of my head, I don't have an exact number, but my guess is somewhere between that 80 to 100, which is about our average daily attendance. Okay.
Is that for do you guys offer breakfast too?
Only in the summer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. In the summer, we have more kids. Summer, it's about 250 kids on an average daily.
Okay. But right now, you guys just offer supper?
It's lunch and supper.
Lunch and supper.
Or snack and supper, sorry.
Snack and supper. And what are the hours of the Boys and Girls Club? Like, how long can they stay there?
During the school year, we're open from 2:30 till 8 o'clock at night. And then during the summer, we're open at 6:30 and we close at 5:30. Okay.
And you said like 3,000 kids a year, but they're divided in all kinds of different sites, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Because I know that the Boys and Girls Club did an after-school thing with Webster Stanley. And I don't know if you guys still do with Webster Stanley.
Yep, we're still there.
But I taught a film course to like 5 and 6-year-olds.
Oh,
I
fun.
had a radio TV film minor that I used, and I was teaching them how to use the camera and
Cool.
kind of an experimental.
Mhm.
I miss that.
Yeah.
So
We love giving our kids those kinds of experiences, just exposing them to all new things. It's
and
very important.
when I was there, they're like teacher Castor. All I want is food because I kept. They're like, when are we gonna get pizza? they kept being hungry. So
Food is a big thing. Everyone loves food.
any new programs on the horizons, like new ideas, new thoughts that you guys might want to talk about?
I think we're always trying to find out what we can do better.
Okay.
One of the things we're looking into right now is how do we best serve our families. We run family nights pretty much every month in the year. Tonight's actually one of them. We're doing a Halloween party, and we're looking in how do we make those better and really beneficial for our families. What can we do to help them as parents or guardians? So.
And how important do you think it is to make that connection? Because it's hard to get together as a family sometimes.
Correct.
So to have that night where they can just say, let's come to the club and have a night where we just focus on us and not our jobs, not the outside world, just us as a family. How important is that?
I would say very important. I think that's why our families love our family nights, is because they can come and be a family and have some fun activities and a meal together and really just be a family unit. And they love that experience.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from families as far as family nights?
They really enjoy them. I would say our most popular ones are our holiday ones. So we do a Halloween party, we do a Thanksgiving dinner, and we do a Christmas party. So
What do you do as far as a Christmas party?
they can decorate cookies, and the kids get to wrap a gift for their parents, and they get a meal. They get to take pictures with Santa, just all kinds of different holiday fun.
Do they ever come back and say, thank you for providing this night because we haven't had a whole lot of family time, or we just been too busy or stressed out, or maybe a situation's going on at home that they need to deal with? And
We have families who come back and tell us thank you, yes.
yeah.
Maybe not all the details of their life, but they definitely feel thankful.
No, because that's important to say thank you, because
Correct.
it can, I mean, even a smile, just I'm sure just seeing the youth smile during the day, it makes your heart makes your heart melt, because just hearing that thank you or smiling can make somebody's day.
Yeah, we want them to all have a really great time at our club.
Because like I said, maybe at home they don't have that positive environment, but when they come to the club they can feel welcome, at ease, less pressure, and not have to worry about the home stresses of life, because, well, one thing that can be stressful is school.
Yes.
And that can be because they're teaching kids wanting to learn more and more lately, and not focusing on about being a kid, because there is something to being a kid too. So.
Yeah. We definitely want them to have fun while they're at our club and experience new things and just enjoy their time there.
Do you have any kids with physical disabilities that come to the club?
Occasionally.
Yeah. Are you guys very adaptable if a family was to come in there with a kid with a physical disability?
I think we would try our very hardest to do that. And yeah, we have, I think, the capability of doing that.
Yeah. Because I know that you guys are always welcoming, and when I went on that tour with Lori, it was very humbling and very, just to see what all she did. Within the last 48 seconds here, what would you say if somebody wanted to join the Boys and Girls Club and make an impact or volunteer?
I would say stop on down and come learn about us, and we would welcome you to be a volunteer or a part-time staff and make a difference. We always would love that.
All right, well, thank you for joining me, Katie.
Thank you.
This is Eric Kasner for Making It Happen. Thank you, Oshkosh.